3 games played in the StarTimes Uganda Premier League season 2020-2021, 9 points in the bag for Kcca Fc, 12 goals scored, 1 goal conceded, and a record that was equaled this week. We bring to you everything tonight on the show, the fans, the players, and the coaches' reactions after those games that we played last week, and also the build-up ahead of the games that will be played next week. Good evening, it's episode 2 and season 2 of the Kcca Fc TV show. My name is Magero Mwanje. You and I are walking this journey together. Now about the club news from Kcca Fc this week. On Wednesday, 9th December, Sadat Anaku celebrated his 20th birthday, and definitely the club had to wish him a happy birthday through all its digital platforms, that is Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Remember, Sadat Anaku is a former player in the Kcca Fc Soccer Academy, and now he's playing in the Kcca Fc senior team. He made his senior debut when he was still even a player in the Soccer Academy, so you get to think he's going to be a brilliant player for the football club. He's out injured currently. He's not yet played a game for the team this season, but you get to think when he returns from that injury, he'll be able to score those goals and get them in. So happy birthday again, Sadat Anaku, and we hope you had a great one. Still speaking about the club news from Kcca Fc, the injury update. Moses Aliro returned from injury and got again injured, because that player came back from injury against Onduparaka Football Club. He was brought on as a substitute in that game and then started the game against Mbarara City, but unfortunately he was taken off a minute to halftime injured. So we get to think that he will be able to return to the game of football very soon, and wish him a very quick recovery. The same applies to Gift Ali, who got an injury against Onduparaka Football Club and he missed that game against Mbarara City Football Club. We wish the player a quick recovery, and told that he will be training this week with the team, and we get to think that he'll be able to make the squad against AC Villa, or at least the squad against KCCA Football Club. So we wish both players a quick recovery, plus Poloto Julius, Sadat Anaku, who have also not yet played the game this season due to injury, and John Revita, who is out until next year. But the positive is he has started his on-field recovery process and his rehabilitation, so we get to think that he'll be back playing football very soon. Now, still speaking about the players that are returning at Kcca Fc, the 4 players plus the assistant manager, Mole Biekwaso, that played in the under-20 AFCON Zonal qualifiers in Arusha, are back at Kcca Fc, and I should tell you that Mole Biekwaso even was on the bench when Kcca Fc played Mbarara City this week, and also players Kiza Bukenya and Kafumbe Joseph have resumed training this week. The other players are yet to resume training, but at least I can confirm that Bukenya Kiza Joseph has resumed training, and Kafumbe Joseph, and they should be part of the squad that will be playing against AC Villa away, or at least that game against KCCA Football Club away. So we welcome them at the club once again, and thank them again because they really represented the football club that was in Arusha in the AFCON Zonal qualifiers and in the Sekafa under-20 tournament. So kudos, guys, and we welcome you back at the football club. We hope your coming back is even going to help us score more goals and even shine brighter and better than we have been doing. Now, speaking about the highlights of the games that happened this week, on Tuesday, KCCA played Onduparaka Football Club, and that game ended 8-0 in favor of Kcca Fc, KCCA obliterating the Caterpillars, and at the MTN Omondi Stadium. We had Brian Aheebwa score 4 goals in this game, and then Sam Senyonyo, the teenager, scoring a hat-trick, his first hat-trick in his football career, and also Herbert Achai scoring a worldie of a goal in this one. And then the club equaled that record that was set 10 years ago in 2010, set by Proline Football Club against Busia Hoima. And to give you the highlights for this game, Gift Ali in the 16th minute played a very wonderful ball to Senyonyo, who played a quick 1-2 with Aheebwa. Senyonyo teeing up Aheebwa, who fired his second goal of the season in the 16th minute.
1-0.
In the 22nd minute, Achai played a very wonderful ball to Senyonyo, who played to Gift, and Gift played back the ball to Achai, who lobbed from 30 yards out to score a worldie of a goal and doubling Kcca Fc's lead in the 22nd minute. In the 28th minute, Aheebwa protected the ball wonderfully and released an unmarked Senyonyo Samuel, who was at the edge of the box, and the teenager making no mistake but slotting the ball in the net for the 3rd goal of the game for Kcca Fc.
KCCA Goals isatu, Onduparaka 0.
In the 36th minute, Aheebwa's shot on goal was saved by Onduparaka's keeper, Senyonjo picking the ball up and slotting it in to make it 4-0 for KCCA FC. With a minute to half time, Samson Chigozi was fouled by Ajobe Mahad of Onduparaka in the box. A penalty was awarded to KCCA FC and Ajobe Mahad of Onduparaka was booked for his unsportsmanlike behavior. Aheebwa stepped up to take the resultant kick from 12 yards and he set the Onduparaka keeper the wrong side, making it 5-0 for KCCA FC before half-time.
Atebye kola yokubiri eyolunaku olwaleero bw'atyo Brian Aheebwa ayongedde okubeera nga asasula Mike Mutebi sente ze yamuteekamu bw'atyo n'ayongera okubeera nga ateeka ttiimu ya KCCA into driving seat. Brian Aheebwa.
Yeah, Brian Aheebwa obviously abadde involved nnyo, but it's a bit strange. Usually abasambi babeera nga waliwo alina goals 2 ku kisaawe. Usually baguwa omuntu oyo ali ku goals 2 asobola okubeera nga afunayo goal 3, but eventually ndowooza ennyota y'okubeera nga buli omu afuna akatimba y'amaanyi nnyo, naye nga this is performance Onduparaka gye yagala okwerabira mangu nnyo kyokka nga n'omupiira tegunnaba kutuuka yadde mu half time.
Brian Aheebwa atebyeko ya KCCA ey'okutaano n'agamba nti yateba goals zaali mu.
In the 56th minute, Samson Chigozi played the ball to Ashraf Mugume, who played it to Kezron Kizito and then back to Sam Senyonjo, who slotted the ball between the goalkeeper's legs to make it 6-0 for KCCA FC and recording his first hat-trick in his football career. In the 65th minute, Herbert Achai and Brian Aheebwa had some good interplay, and then Aheebwa scored beautifully to make it a hat-trick for himself and 7-0 for KCCA FC on the evening.
I registered in the hat-trick eyokubiri mu season. Goal y'eyokusatu olunaku olwaleero nga basamba Onduparaka, naye ate goal ey'omusanvu eya KCCA. What a moment!
In the 73rd minute, Ashraf Mugume produced a belter from outside the box. The Onduparaka keeper spilled the ball and Brian Aheebwa was in position to tap in the 8th for KCCA FC and his 4th on the evening.
Lunaku lwa Brian Aheebwa, goals zatandikira Mbarara, nazi transporting nga simanyi oba yalinnya basi oba bamuweereza mmotoka nga ttiimu ya KCCA wetera okubeera ng'ekikola. These goals were made from Mbarara, zatuuka e Rugoko, kati yakateba goals 4.
8-0 the final score, KCCA FC equaling that record that was set 10 years ago in that game between Proline Football Club and Hoima Busia Football Club. So KCCA FC getting that game and everything just seemed to be right for Mike Mutebi's charges, and a brilliant display, I should say, that was at the MTN Omondi Stadium. KCCA FC obliterating Onduparaka Football Club 8-0. And now for the highlights for the KCCA FC Mbarara City game. KCC winning this one 2-0, and the game was at the MTN Omondi Stadium. Denis Iguma scoring his first goal for KCCA FC. The goal coming in first half, and then the youngster, the teenager, Sam Senyonjo, scoring the second goal in that game in the second half, and also taking his tally for KCCA FC for the season to 5, and then also scoring his 8th goal in 6 games for KCCA FC. That game still happening at the MTN Omondi Stadium, and all about that game, we had 2 changes, that is for KCCA FC, Moses Aliro and Juma Balinya starting ahead of Gift Ali, who was out injured for this one. He picked up an injury against Onduparaka Football Club, and then Musa Hassan, who started on the bench for this one. In the 24th minute, Denis Iguma attempted to score from 35 yards out, but the ball dropped on the roof of the net.
In the
27th minute, Jasper Aheebwa's corner was cleared off the line. Bashir Mutanda's rebound flew wide and out.
Bashiru Mutanda wa kutunuzaamu tamanyi bana abasirikale betu abambala ebya black bakanyugo mukebwati ya gas. Shot ya Bashiru Mutanda olina okubeera ng'ogiziizereme kubeera ng'ekwata.
Yeah, guno guba kufininga target gubadde hot nnyo okuva wa Bashiru Mutanda tali afraid okushuti.
In the 36th minute, Moses Aliro was fouled by Mbarara's Otieno and then later booked. Aliro stepped up to take the free kick, and Denis Iguma nodded home in the 37th minute, scoring his first goal for KCCA FC and the first goal for KCCFC on the day.
Goal esose ya timu yanafa wa KCCA okuva mu source eyinza okubeera nga tewandikiteebye ng'ompira tegunnatandika. Denis Iguma first shot on target mupiira guno. Denis Iguma atebye golo yeesookedde ddala mujoozi ogwa kyenvu omujoozi gwa tiimu eno eya KCCA. KCCA goal emu Mbarara City 0.
What a rare goal from omusosi kwegamba gy'otasobola kugamba nti obadde ogisuubira nnyo. Somehow again the defending nga bwe twagambeko tebasobola kubuuka ne bamusookako, si asinga obuwanvu era nga bumulaba mu saizi ye ng'ate ttiimu ya Mbarara City.
After the interval, in the 51st minute, Musana's corner was met by Denis Iguma, whose attempt on goal was blocked by Othieno, but Samuel Senyonjo was found in a very nice position and pinned the ball in the net to score his 8th goal for KCFC in 6 games.
Tagenda kulekerawo okubeera ng'ateeba. Ateebye leero yanditeeba n'enkya n'ebiseera ebirijja. KCCA goals 2 Mbarara City 0.
Ya mupiira Sam gwatalabiseemu nnyo, gwatabadde na touches nnyingi nnyo, naye alina those predatory instincts ezo okubeera nga amanyi akaseera akatuufu ennyo omupiira bwe gusobola okubeera nga gugwa. Of course waliwo hint eya offside n'olowooza osanga Mbarara City, naye nga bwe twagambye buli mupiira kumpi ogujja mu ntabo ya ttiimu ya Mbarara City oba omuwagizi waayo gweraliikiriza kubanga ebiseera ebisinga si balungi nnyo ku second balls ezo aba ttiimu eya Mbarara.
In the 61st minute, Ashraf Mugume almost scored what would have been a goal of the season contender with a rocket of a hit that was tipped over by Mbarara City's shot-stopper, Sekeba.
What a save! Muhammad Sekeba yensonga yokka lwaki KCCA tenaweza goals 3.
Wonderful strike okuva Ashraf Mugume, but what a save okuva wa bwatyo Muhammad Sekeba akutte obulungi ennyo, gubadde on target naye what a save bwatyo ku side ya tiimu eno, naye nga njagadde nnyo n'engeri Ashraf Mugume eno si loolo yennyo kubeera nga akuba emipiira ku goal, naye so far tulabye attempts ezisukka mu
In the 65th minute, Aheebwa just of Mbarara City crossed the ball in the box, and Bashir Mutanda's header rattled the crossbar in what would have been Mbarara City's consolation for the day. The ball was later cleared away by Peter Magambo. 2-0 the final score, KCCA FC getting the 3rd win in 3 games for the Star Times Uganda Premier League 2020-2021 season. Now that means the club has 9 points in the 3 games and has scored 12 goals, conceded 1. And then KCCA FC's next games are going to be against SC Villa on Tuesday away in Bombo, and on Friday against URA Football Club at the MTN Omondi Stadium. Now on our social media pages on Twitter, after that KCCA FC Onduparaka game, we asked fans that which player stood out for you this evening. Hashtag KCCA Ondu, hashtag Star Times Uganda Premier League. And then there were 4 players that were put up for a poll on our Twitter pages, and that is Brian Aheebwa, Samuel Senyonjo, Herbert Achai, and Ashraf Mugume. Now this poll was for 1 day, and then these are the final scores from this poll. Brian Aheebwa had 75% according to the fans on Twitter. Then Samuel Senyonjo had 10%, Herbert Achai had 4%, and Ashraf Mugume had 10%. Remember, this is a game where Brian Aheebwa scored 4 goals and Sam Senyonjo scored 3, and then Herbert Achai scored also 1 goal. So Brian Aheebwa won that Twitter poll and with 75%. Then still ahead of that game, that was on match day against between KCCA FC and Onduparaka, we asked the fans for their predictions, and we only read out a few of the predictions. Money Monster on Twitter said KCCA FC will win the game 2-1, and then KCCA FC went on to win the game 8-0. And then Richard Lukwago at Lux Richie said KCCA FC will win 3-1. Now that's all about the fans' prediction on our Twitter pages. Now we're going to be going to a break, and when we return, we have the fans, the players, and the gaffers' reactions after that game between KCCA FC and Onduparaka Football Club and KCCA FC and Mbarara City. Everything else after this break. Now welcome back from that break, and just like we told you, we have the fans' reactions on everything that happened at the StarTimes Stadium Lukwago last week when Kcca Fc played Onduparaka Football Club and Mbarara City Football Club. But before that, FUFA came up this week and released a statement that allowed fans back in the stadiums, but also gave out strict guidelines that fans will have to follow. And just to take you through some of the guidelines that were part of this statement: appointment of a club medical liaison officer and club hygiene implementation officer and club safety and security officer. So this has to be done by each club. In the StarTimes Uganda Premier League at Kcca Fc, we have already been doing this even before accepting the fans back into the stadiums, but it was even more done when we played Mbarara City. That was the first game that we had, and fans were able at least to access the stadium, and these were only season ticket holders. And then something still about this statement: registration of season ticket holders that are not exceeding 200, and then these ones will be accessing these games with only a season ticket. So no more selling tickets at the gates up until the Ministry of Health guides FUFA on what should be done going forward. But for now, you'll only have to buy a season ticket if you want to watch Kcca Fc games. Then no other persons shall be allowed access to the stadiums beyond those stipulated in Article 13 of the COVID-19 rules. And then any club or football entity that fails to abide by the conditions as set out above shall be liable to sanctions, including but not limited to monetary fines and withdrawal of the privilege. So if we do not follow the guidelines that were set by FUFA, that is the number 200 maximum of fans in the stadiums, and then having them buy those season tickets, not buying tickets at the gates to avoid that crowding at the gates, then the club could pay monetary fines and also could get that privilege taken away from them. That is no watching, games. Fans will not be able to watch games and a lot more. So fans are allowed back in the stadiums, but only 200, and then you'll have to have a season ticket. Let's just abide with the guidelines. Maybe if we abide with the guidelines, we could even have the number pushed to maybe 500 or 1,000. Who knows? FUFA will have to guide about that. So this week, we caught up with the fans after that win against Onduparaka Football Club and Mbarara City Football Club. The fans had a lot to say, and then we'll be getting to know, did they think probably a club should have scored more goals? 8 could have been little, according to them. So this is what happened when we caught up with the fans about the wins this week.
About the game against Onduparaka, I was impressed with the 8 goals scored, having the 5 in the halftime and 3 in the second half. What caught my eyes was the combination of Mugume together with Kezron and Gift Ali. The midfield was so solid, and the left back, that's Habat Achai, together with his wing Musana, played a good role in the game. Also having Samson Kigozi, he impacted too much. Looking at the technical substitution of Moses Aliro, he played a big impact. He came and the game was really so good. My best player was Mugume. He played really a big impact. He was doing the donkey work, much of the donkey work. Then my best goal was definitely Habat Achai. A 40-yard goal, wow. Contendant already for goal of the season. So he scored the best goal in the game.
Zamanya bampita Waiswa Anthony nga ndi muwagizi wa Kcca Fc, timu y'omupiira ennungi mu Uganda. Omupiira gwo gwali mulungi ogw'Onduparaka, abalenzi baali balungi. Gwe nasinga okwagala Achai yankubira bulungi eyo goolo. Then ekyabulamu yali Magambo ye, singa twatuuka ku tiimu eyali so creative nga balumba Magambo ye ne partnership yabwe ne Iguma yo yabulamu akatono beetaaga otereeza naye ku birungi mu maaso wo basamba bulungi, ba midfielders baali balungi, omupiira nga bafeedinga ba strikers. Aheebwa baali na time enungi n'essennyonjo, laba omupiira nga gwali gujja buli kaseera bwe baali bagwetaagira, ne timing y'aba strikers yo yali nnungi. Because chances ze twafuna zonna zezimu twazoonoona naye zo tezaali nnyingi, naye ze twafuna zonna twazikozesa bulungi. So department y'omumaaso yali nnungi, midfield yonna teyali mbi, naye Magambo ye ekyabulamu ku partnership ye ne Iguma emabega awo. Singa tufuna tiimu erumba ennyo, because Onduparaka bo barelaxinga nnyo, formation gye bakozesa yali mbi, baali baagala bafieldinge ba midfielders bangi, ate ne kibalemerera. So singa twali tugudde ku tiimu ennungi Magambo ne Iguma singa tebatereezaamu kiba kijja tukositinga omupiira, naye ebisigadde byonna byali birungi.
Amanya genze Tebusweke Morris nga ni mwagizi wa KCC okuva Entebbe. Omupiira gwa KCC Onduparaka ogwazanyiddwa okwoseggulo. Omupiira gwadde mulungi nnyo ng'era abazannyi barespondize bulungi nnyo kukaba kwa Mike Mutebi. Omupiira we yabaga nti bazanyira mupiira ogwasooka. Abazannyi babadde n'obukakamu bw'amaanyi era bazanye bulungi nnyo ng'olaba fullback bazanya bulungi, bazanyira ddala mu advanced positions Achaine ne Mugume bazanye bulungi nnyo. N'ekirala nti goals abaddemu nnyingi era nga Mike Mutebi yaga nti season eno agenda kuba goals eziwera 10 yamaze okiraga era tiimu zonna zirina okujja nga zeetegese. Badde nga Ssenyonjo n'Aheebwa bateba goals nnyingi mu mupiira guno, naye emizannyo eyasinga okubeera ow'amaanyi gwe nalaba yali Ashafu Mugume. Positioning ye midfield, transition ng'ejja transitioning okuva emabega paka maaso eri, okuva ku gole yasooka paka ku gole yasembayo yeetabamu era n'omupiira ne gole yasembayo ye yakuba ennyanda kipa gye yawandula Aheebwa asooka atebe gole ey'omunaana. Yali muzannyi mulungi nnyo nze gwe ntwanga omuzannyi wange yasinga mu mupiira.
Geemu y'Onduparaka eyo nagiraba okuva ku ddakiika esooka paka ku ddakiika esembayo, naye egeemu bwe yali etandika nali suubira nti bazigenda kubeera goolo nnyingi bwe zityo, naye first half we yaggwera nga maze okukkiriza nti goolo ziyinza okubeera goolo 8 oba 7. Era saakyewuunya nnyo geemu bwe yagendanga nga egenda mu maaso nga ndaba Onduparaka egenda eyenjebuka buyenjebusi nga sipiidi yaffe tegisobolerako ddala. Era njagala okutuusa okulabula eri ttiimu endala nti wano erugugu wakufiira bufiizi. Omuzannyi ku lunaku olwo eyankolera obulungi mu butuufu Ssenyonjo yanzannyira omupiira mulungi nnyo. Ssenyonjo omusambi oyo musambi muto, namulabako season ewedde ng'azannya ate n'abula. Tubadde tuludde okubeera mu mupiira gwa Uganda nga tulina striker bw'atyo ayina amaddu ku goolo nti mulungi mu bbanga, mulungi wansi, ate ennyonta gy'alina. Ba strikers ba Uganda bembadde nganda banga bwakuba goolo emu mu match avaawo nga avimba nolowooza nti oba kiweddeyo, naye ono omulenzi yasigala akyayina ennyonta ng'akyagoba. Era kyensaba njagala asigale nga bwato nga bwakola yadde okubye goals 3 n'osigala ng'era nga okyanoonya goolo endala.
Omupiira gubadde munyuvu nnyo. I was happy with the boys' performance. I can see there is great teamwork. Naye ndabyemuko some lack of fitness on the side of Gift Ali. Naye ndoza is understandable kubanga abadde mulwadde yakadda. But I think the boys are promising. The boys are promising. The match was good. Olunaku olwaleero I can say nga club, I think KCC we have been affected by gate collection because why? Your team Onduparaka bayina many fans in Kampala, but also most of them also travel from Arua. I know would have gained a lot of gate collection from their fans. So in a way, we have maybe revenue. We have been affected revenue-wise, but also on the other side, nabo to be fair, also nabo I think they lost that being away. They lost that morale boosting from their fans. So somehow, lack of fans in the stadium affected both ways, both teams.
Interesting reactions from the fans about those games against Onduparaka Football Club and Mbarara City Football Club last week. So, I mean, we'll still have the fans on this show giving their reactions, even with the games that we'll play next week against SC Villa and URA Football Club. But hey, we did not only catch up with the fans, we also caught up with the players of Kcca FC and the gaffer himself, Mike Mutebi, on the reactions after the games against Onduparaka Football Club and Mbarara City Football Club. This is what happened when we caught up with the players and the gaffer, Mike Mutebi, after these games.
Performance of the team was so wonderful. We played well. We have played as we train. We have got 3 points. As a team, we have been training so well. So we are 100% prepared.
goolo ze nakubye 3 eyasinze okunnyumira ndowooza goolo number 1 kuba nabadde njeetaaga nga njeetaagira ddala. Yanyumidde nnyo engeri gye neesipeesinzeemu okusapootinga Aheebwa yabadde nnungi nnyo, yanyumidde nnyo. Kale nange mulimu omukisa gwe nafunye mu half time gwabadde ndowooza yabadde edda gwabadde gwakutomera mutwe mu goolo yegannumye nnyo kubanga gwabadde gulina onnyo kale. Ate ezimu ku challenges nafuna season ewedde nasamba emipiira kale mitono naye nali nina ovaamu ne goolo nyingi naye era namisinga goolo bwe zityo ez'omutwe kale ate era nenziramu nennemwa kale tekyampisiza bulungi nga nze naye ngenda kukitereeza.
We would have even scored more. You see, we scored the goal, they got the chances. Our centre forwards are scoring, which is very, very pleasing, you know. And I think it was a very good performance from the lads. They played well. They were in command from word go. They are scoring. So I can't change. They're scoring. That's partnership. But there's also another one of Anaku and Luanga. But if these ones are the ones scoring, then why can't I? Why should I leave them out? Supposed to score. So if, say, like for instance, Brian, last time he scored 1, this time he scored 4. Next time maybe he's going to score 5. Senyonyo scored 1 last time. This time he scored 3. So they are upping. There's a lot of competition because you want to see goals. Play attacking football with the flair, but with scoring goals. And I think they have adapted very well. But overall, I think it was a good performance. They adapted well. They were in charge from word go. So, and I believe the sky is the limit for them.
Interesting opinions from the players and the gaffer himself, Mike Mutebi, about those games that happened last week against Onduparaka Football Club and Mbarara City Football Club. The gaffer coming out to say that his players should have even done better against Onduparaka Football Club, saying they should have scored more goals. KCCA beat Onduparaka 8-0. The gaffer thinks the players should have scored probably 10 or 12 goals in this one. But he has the best opinion because he gets to live with his players daily. So we're going to be going into a break, and when we return, we have that build-up to next week's games against SC Villa away in Bombo and at home at the MTN Omondi Stadium against URA Football Club on Friday. Don't touch that dial. Now welcome back from that break, and now we'll be having the build-up to those start-time Uganda Premier League games this week that will be playing against SC Villa on Tuesday away in Bombo and on Friday at the MTN Omondi Stadium against URA Football Club. And we'll start with the head-to-head against SC Villa. Kcca Fc has played SC Villa in the Uganda Premier League 19 times. And then in those last 19 games, Villa has won twice. Kcca Fc has won 9 times. Both teams have drawn 8 times in the last 19 games. Then Villa has lost 9 times and Kcca Fc has lost twice in those last 19 games. Villa has scored 15 goals in the last 19 games played against Kcca Fc, and Kcca Fc has scored 27 goals in those last 19 games played against SC Villa. Then SC Villa has conceded 27 goals in the last 19 games against Kcca Fc, while Kcca Fc has conceded 15 goals in the last 19 games against SC Villa. The points for Villa in the last 19 games are 14, while for Kcca Fc, they are 35. Remember last season, Kcca Fc played SC Villa once because that second game wasn't played because at that time, the pandemic happened and then the league was called off. But in that one game, we played Villa last season. The game ended 4-1 in favor of Kcca Fc. Kafumbe scoring his first goal for the football club in that one. Seki Sambuso scoring against his former club. Kiza Mustaf also scoring that one, and Alan Okelo before he went on to move to Algeria to his new club, Paradu Football Club, and Amir Kakomo scoring for SC Villa in this one. So Kcca Fc have the bragging rights against Villa because you've seen in the last 19 games, Kcca Fc has won 9 times, while Villa has won only twice. Clubs drawing 8 times in the last 19 games. You get to think we are going to have a brilliant game this week away against SC Villa in Bombo, because we have Gift Ali, who will start training on Monday. He will have to face a late fitness test. We'll get to see whether he will be able to make the squad that will travel away to SC Villa, that will be in Bombo. And also Moses Aliro, who picked up an injury against Mbarara City Football Club, will also be getting to see whether he will be able to feature in this game. We'll have to continue with his rehabilitation. Definitely, we don't expect Julius Poloto and Sadata Naku, because they continue with their rehabilitation. And then also John Revita, who is out for a long time, and we hope to see him back in action next year around either February or March. So the rest of the players should be available for this one, and SC Villa should be in for some hot soup, because Kcca Fc want to win the 14th Uganda Premier League title. And then the mission for this season is Group 14-11. We continue with our raid because it's 3 games, 3 wins, 12 goals scored, 1 goal conceded, and 9 points in the bag. That's all about that game against SC Villa. It will be happening this week on Tuesday, and the game will be live on Sanyuka TV. The game will be away in Bombo, so we wish all our players the very best in that game. Now, that will not be the only game Kcca Fc will play this week. Kcca Fc on Friday will play against URA Football Club at the MTN Omondi Stadium. Now, to just give you some news about this game, last season Kcca Fc drew 1-1 against URA Football Club. Definitely URA scoring first in that game. That was Ashraf Mandela and Alan Okello scoring the equalizer against URA Football Club. That game happening at the MTN Omondi Stadium last season. And then Kcca Fc lost 2-1 to URA Football Club away in Deje. That was still about the 2019-2020 season. Now, Kcca Fc having a mission this season to win the 14th Uganda Premier League title means it has to win these games, games against their rivals, SC Villa, URA Football Club. So Kcca Fc will be playing URA Football Club this week at MTN Omondi Stadium, and we hope the boys are in for this one, and I'm quite sure that we are in for a big surprise. Those are the visitors, URA Football Club. And just to give you the head-to-head for this game, KCC and URA, the matches that have been played in the last 20 games, KCC has won 6 times, while URA has won 8 times. And then the draws have been 6 for both teams. KCC has lost 8 times in the last 20 games against URA Football Club, while URA has lost 6 times against KCCA in the last 20 games. Then KCC has scored 29 goals in the last 20 games against URA Football Club, while URA has only scored 26 goals in the last 20 against KCCA Football Club. Then KCC has conceded 26 goals in the last 20 games against URA Football Club, while URA Football Club has conceded 29 goals in the last 20 games played against KCCA Football Club. And then the points got from the last 20 games for KCCA Fc are 24, while URA Football Club has 30 points from the last 20 games played against KCCA Fc. So top stuff from this game, and you get to think that rivalry between these football clubs, that is both teams owned by the authority, and then we have Mike Mutebi on this side, and then Mulangira Simb on the other side. And you get to think we are going to have a very brilliant game and a beautiful game at the MTN Omondi Stadium between KCCA Fc and URA Football Club on Friday. If you're out there and you haven't bought that season ticket that will allow you to watch all our home games for the 2020-2021 season, kindly go to the MTN Omondi Stadium, Lukwago, and buy that season ticket. Please, we do not sell season tickets on game day. We sell them days before the game. So that game on Friday against URA Football Club, you'll be able to watch it with that season ticket. We have only 200 slots. Please, 30 slots for the VIP section, 170 slots for the ordinary section. Kindly make it to the MTN Omondi Stadium and buy that season ticket. The one for the VIP is 500,000 shillings, and you're able to watch all our home games for the rest of the season, and 200,000 shillings for the ordinary section. Also, to tell you, we're still selling those jerseys for the 2020-2021 season, and the jerseys are 35,000 shillings. That is the home and away kit. And then for the kids, 40,000 Uganda shillings, because the kid gets a shirt and a short. So it doesn't get any better at Kcca Fc. Kindly make your way and also buy other things, the merchandise, the jumpers, the scarves, the bottles, the cups, the key holders, name it, everything that is branded having Kcca Fc. And please push that campaign, that is the Wear Your Local Jersey campaign, and make sure you support the local teams, because it's one of the ways the clubs here in Uganda and other sports entities are going to make some revenue, because there are no funds even when they are fans, the fans are not as much as they used to be last season. So kindly buy that merchandise and contribute to the revenue of your various football clubs for this season. Now guys, that's all about the season 2, episode 2 show that was tonight. And just to tell you that tonight I was dressed by Animac Fashions, and just like you can see, if you want to have a look like I've had tonight, I think I was quite smart, guys. You can just check out Animac Fashion Store. They are located at Great Magil Shopping Center, just behind Oryx Petrol Station in Bukoto. And then the room number is GFL04. You can also get them on 0758 839 905. And Animac Fashion Store is also on Facebook as Animac Fashion Store, and also on Instagram at Animac Fashion Store. So if you want to have a look like I've had tonight, guys, I think I was really dapper. Wasn't I? I think I was. You can share those opinions on the Kcca Fc page and also on my own page and tell me how I look tonight. But if you want to have the same look, check out Animac Fashion Store and you'll be able to look as smart as I was. So guys, that's all about season 2, episode 2 of the Kcca Fc TV show tonight. Next week we'll be back with episode 3. My name is Magero Mwanje. Good night.